Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
When it comes to classic hero-villain relationships, few relationships are as iconic or as complicated as Batman and the Joker. The pair have been entangled for over 80 years, going back to the villain's debut in 1940's Batman. Since then, the chaotic clown has grown to become a cornerstone of pop culture, showing up in every form of media imaginable. In fact, the Clown Prince of Crime has become so entwined with and representative of the Dark Knight that he's taken on a life of his own. The 2019 Joker film caused such a stir that it raked in $1 billion from around the globe, necessitating a sequel coming out later this year. With Joaquin Phoenix smearing on the grease paint once again, we're running through all of his fellow live-action Jokers, ranging from TV and movies to commercials and even a live performance. Each take on the Joker managed to capture elements of this wildly complicated character who expresses a mixture of madness and hilarity and of chaos and strategy. Wait a minute, how can this list start off with a film that debuted 12 years before the Joker? Conrad Veidt's portrayal of Gwynplaine in The Man Who Laughs is often cited as a key inspiration for the Joker's look. Although this film predates the Joker's official debut by over a decade, the eerie grin and tragic character of Gwynplaine left a significant mark on the Joker's visual identity. The character is actually the hero of the piece, which is all about class divisions and features not a single superhero. Fast forward to the 1960s, and the Joker finally makes his live-action debut in the beloved Batman TV series. Cesar Romero was chosen to bring the Clown Prince of Crime to life and established a performance that still resonates to this day. With a career that started in the early 30s, Romero was always working. It's one of the reasons he famously refused to shave off his mustache to portray Joker, in favor of simply having the makeup artists paint over it. Appearing in over 20 episodes and in 1966's Batman the Movie, Romero showed us that the Joker could be both silly and menacing, setting the stage for future portrayals.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Jumping ahead to 1989, Jack Nicholson took the Joker into a darker, more chaotic realm in Tim Burton's Batman. Jack Napier started out as a mob enforcer, but everything changed when he fell into a vat at Axis Chemicals that drove him mad and bleached his skin white. He took control of the criminal organization and began spreading a unique brand of calamity that involved driving around in a purple car, taking on Batman, and destroying priceless artwork while dancing to Prince's soundtrack. Nicholson embodied the chaotic nature of the character, partially embracing Romero's clowning while adding an element of danger that comes along in so many of Nicholson's performances. His was a Joker that reflected the darker tone of the 80s, capturing some of the decade's dark irony and proving that the comic book villains can be scary. Nicholson set a new standard for the Clown Prince of Crime.
Hey, Bat Brain, I was a kid when I killed your parents. I say I made you, you gotta say you made me. And how childish can you get, huh? You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on, would you? Huh?
Between the initial run of Batman films, started by Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan's trilogy, fans had one source of live-action Bat-tainment: OnStar commercials. At the time, the company specialized in emergency response, car theft detection systems, and surprisingly good ads with Batman chasing down villains in the Batmobile. In one such spot, he went after the Joker, played by Curtis Armstrong, best known as Booger from the Revenge of the Nerds movies.
Batman, this is Karen Boyd from OnStar. I got a signal your airbag went off. Should I send for an ambulance?
Everything's fine. Send the police to 4th and Main.
I'll contact them right away.
He'll never learn.
Though best known for his voice work in animation, Mark Hamill's Joker made a notable appearance in the short-lived live-action series Birds of Prey during its only season in 2002 and 2003. The series set up the storyline with Joker's brutal actions, including the infamous shooting of Batgirl, leading to her transformation into Oracle. The character, voiced by Hamill, but physically portrayed by Roger Stoneburner, appeared in a flashback that set up the entire series, which had been mostly forgotten, but was incorporated in the Arrowverse crossover Crisis on Infinite Earths. And fun fact, this series also marked the first time that Harley Quinn appeared in live action. Just when we thought we'd seen the full spectrum of Joker performances, Heath Ledger came along with his own unique take in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. This Joker represented pure chaos in the form of a man with no true origin who devised truly supervillain-level challenges for Christian Bale's Batman. A high-stakes robbery of mob money was just the start. He proceeded to take on the various mafia families of Gotham City and set up a morality test with 2 ferries loaded with bombs. Ledger's version eschewed much of the fun and wackiness often associated with the Joker in favor of a far more dangerous, almost animalistic agent of havoc who's just as unnerving in the quiet moments as the more bombastic ones. The actor sadly passed away before the film debuted in 2008, but he left a stunning legacy in the form of a fascinating portrayal of an iconic character.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
You want live action? What's more live than theater? The stage got its turn with the Joker in 2011 with a show called Batman Live. Portrayed by Mark Frost, this theatrical rendition of the clown Prince of Crime included over-the-top elements like giant Joker heads, a hot air balloon, and a jetpack. For now, this seems to be the last example of a more fun take on the character in live action, with most of the ones after fully going down the psychopathic route.
Don't come yell at me to do the dishes if you've been banging a clown. The next one! You know.
Let's call this one an honorable mention, but on the small screen, Cameron Monaghan portrayed twins on the Fox series Gotham that certainly gave off Joker vibes. Jerome's death and Jeremiah's transformation into a psychotic criminal reflected the chaotic essence of the Joker, even if they didn't bear his name. Jared Leto's take on the Joker in Suicide Squad and Zack Snyder's Justice League was a bold, divisive interpretation. He sported a look that caused quite a stir between the slicked back hair, metal teeth, and all those tattoos. His role in both movies was somewhat overshadowed by Harley Quinn's prominence, but his brief appearances left a lasting impression on fans. Joker was in Arkham, where Margot Robbie's Dr. Harleen Quinzel fell for him. After she helped him escape, he subjected her to electroshock therapy and an Axis Chemicals bath, turning her into Harley Quinn. A comedy series focusing on average people set in the DC universe, Powerless lasted just 1 season. It focused on the research and development department of Wayne Security and dealt with how all those superhero battles affected the employees of a company that directly benefited from them. The company specialized in items like Joker anti-venom and a device that could help detect villains by their smell. At the end of the first episode, the news reported that Batman used a smell-related gadget to track down none other than the Joker, who was seen in a TV news report. But with his head covered, we have no idea who was under there. The Titans series brought us a haunting and almost ghost-like presence of the Joker, played by Mustafa Bulut. The Joker stayed away from the spotlight, mostly shown from a distance or at odd angles. Joker brutally beats Jason Todd to death with a crowbar in an amusement park, mirroring the infamous storyline from A Death in the Family. The grief was too much for Batman, who snapped and killed the Joker in a fit of off-camera rage. It's interesting how many of these newer adaptations ignore the Dark Knight's main rule of not killing anyone. The Joker's presence loomed large in this series, reminding us that even when he's not front and center, he's still pulling the strings in the darkest corners of Gotham. Then came 2019's Joker, which takes place in a totally different reality. This Todd Phillips movie told the story of how failed clown and comedian Arthur Fleck became the title character. Given he's the lead, this is the most in-depth examination of the Joker to date. A scathing indictment of how the rich ignore the problems of those less fortunate, including the treatment of those in need of mental health. The film sets the Joker up as the poster child for a social revolution he initially does not care about. For some, this is the perfect setup for the character, while others prefer the Dark Knight version that has no known origin. Either way, the movie made piles of money at the worldwide box office, leading directly to a sequel, this year's Joker, Folie à Deux. Phillips and Phoenix are re-teaming and will be joined by Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
It's okay, baby. Let's give the people what they want.
As with Titans, the Joker of the Arrowverse series Batwoman was more of a looming presence than an active participant, but he still left a lasting impact. The Joker was played in his few appearances by Nathan Dashwood, but just barely seen in flashbacks throughout the show. This version even used the Jack Napier name for the man beneath the makeup. In this universe, the Joker had already been taken out by Batman, but his legacy lived on through Marcus Jett, played by Nick Creegan. After a traumatic encounter with one of Joker's deadly joy buzzers, Marquise adopted the villain's maniacal persona, becoming a new threat to Gotham. Though he never went by the name Joker, Marcus did eventually embrace madness, as well as purple hair, loud suits, and a few of the clown's deadly gags. Even with the Joker sequel in the works, another version of the character appeared in 2022's The Batman. Though the main villains facing off against Robert Pattinson's Dark Knight were the Penguin and the Riddler, Joker did appear by way of Barry Keoghan, who was credited as the unseen Arkham prisoner. In the cell next to Riddler's at the end of the film, he floated the idea of them working together. Matt Reeves later confirmed that he was definitely the killer clown when the studio released a deleted scene complete with director commentary. He explained that the facial scarring, which can only just barely be seen thanks to safety glass and close-ups, came from a genetic condition. The scene itself has Batman interviewing Joker at Arkham in hopes that it will help him track down Riddler. This much younger take on the villain displayed that usual touch of madness, aided by the fact that Keoghan had a metal object in his mouth that could have left its own scars. Maybe viewers will get to see more of him in the announced sequel, currently scheduled to come out in 2026.
You think they deserved it, huh? You think they deserved it.
And that's a wrap on our chronological look at every live-action Joker. With James Gunn's plans for the new DC Cinematic Universe making their public debut with 2025 Superman, there will likely be another name to add to this list. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more rankings and deep dives right here on KIWI Classic.